Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Hello, Hello podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers. Today is a very cool day for me because we are in Danville, Virginia with Kim Fowlkes, Realtor, Keller Williams here. I think we need to let everyone know this story to begin
absolutely.
with. Because I'm going to talk about how phenomenal of a realtor Kim is, because this is our first time ever meeting in person.
It's crazy, yeah.
But we've known each other for years now through social media, and you actually sold me and Joey's house that we were in 2 years ago.
Yeah. Has it been 2 years? Gosh, time goes by fast.
It's actually been almost 2 years to the day since we closed.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Almost 2 years to the day. So we've known each other for years, but never met in person. So
It's about time we met, for
yes,
sure.
it's about time we met.
Right.
But that just shows what a phenomenal realtor you are, because you were able to do all of that and you never even met us in person.
I know.
So
It's wild.
You're pretty phenomenal. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, the opportunity.
And I'm excited to get to know you even more and kind of allow everyone in on what you're working on and what you do for the community, because you are crushing it, and your marketing shows. Your marketing is what got me to call you and what gained that trust for me. And so I want to talk about that too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, glad it's working. Yeah.
It is working, and I'm like, wow, I really like what she's doing. And I'll tell you kind of my experience. We wanted to sell our house, and we're like, okay, how are we going to do this? And we knew we had a unique house.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, who's going to buy it? It's going to be a special buyer. And so we, started looking, and I'm like, there's Kim Fowlkes. I see her on social media all the time, and I really love what she's doing. You were very modern in your approach. You were very up to date on the trends and everything. And so I'm like, this is who we need to go with. You made it super easy. So thank you for
Wonderful. You're welcome.
that. And here we are. So I want to know, what got you into the real estate game, the real estate business? Because it's a challenging one.
It is very challenging. I don't think most people understand how challenging it is, So I've always had a passion for real estate, for design, for remodeling. Even in, I guess, my early 20s, I built a spec home. I did a design and addition for a neighbor. I built 2 homes myself. I built my first home when I was 19 or 20, my first husband and I. And so I've always loved it, and really started thinking about going into real estate when I was in my 20s, but I had a couple kids, early in life, and decided to be a stay-at-home mom, which was wonderful. I don't regret that at all. Probably for, I think, 9 years, I did not work at all. I was just home with my kids, and then when my youngest one went off to school, I decided, I wanted to look into it again. At the time, though, unfortunately, I was going through a divorce, and so I did go take the class. This was in my early 30s. Passed the class, but never went and sat for my licensing, because I felt like I had to get a job, and I felt like I needed, that security. Because, in real estate, I don't think a lot of people understand in real estate, we don't get paid hourly. We don't get paid at all if we don't close. We can spend months, a year sometimes with a buyer. If they don't buy anything, we don't make a dime. We're spending our gas money, we're spending our time. With a seller, when we list a property, if it doesn't sell, we don't make anything. And we have spent marketing money and photography. I do professional photography on all my listings. I put dollars behind it to market my listings on social media and open houses and just all the things we do. That's expenses out of our pocket, and that's a cost up front. We don't have health insurance. We don't have any of those things. So it's scary to step into that. You really are a business owner and an entrepreneur when you are a realtor. So I did not do it at that time as bad as I wanted to. I ended up actually getting a job at a modular home sales. So it was related to homes. I did that for a couple years. which was pretty cool. Not quite what I wanted to do though. So I left there and ended up at Hargrave Military Academy, and I worked there for I think 11 years. I was the registrar there in the academic department, and I absolutely loved that career. I loved the people. I mean, it was really truly a family. It was where I needed to be at the time. You know, you said earlier when we were talking before the show that timing is everything, and it really is. So I ended up getting remarried after 10 years, and you know, so was working at Hargrave, put myself back through college, finished my degree at Averett, a bachelor's administration at Averett, something I always had wanted to do. While raising my kids, you know, they were still smaller, and like I said, loved that job, but real estate was still just pulling at me because I loved it. Yeah. So in my early 40s, after I remarried, I was like, you know what, it's now or never. I need to go ahead and do this. So I finally got licensed. Tried to do it part-time. I know there are some realtors that are successful part-time, but it is tough, you know, because you have to be available for clients. So let's see, I got licensed in February of 2016, started with a local brokerage, which was, the broker was somebody I had known since I was a teenager, who is an awesome broker and an awesome business. Learned a lot from him. You know, I was very, very fortunate that he brought me on, and the part-time starting off, and I did that for like a year and a half, because the president at the Hargrave at the time just kept asking me to stay a little bit longer and a little bit longer, and I kept giving in, but I finally was like, I've got to do this, so it's now or never. So in, I think it was September of 2017, I went full-time. I just told my husband, I said, I'm just going to go for it, and it has truly changed my life, been a blessing. Thankfully, was pretty successful right away, and I just think that's because I just put myself out there and tried to stand out and be different and market myself, and really used social media to get in front of people. You know, in the beginning, I did a lot of live videos. I did actually have a weekly show. It wasn't a podcast, but I had a weekly show that just was about every Friday. It was called Finding Home Fridays, which I kind of would like to bring back if I ever had time.
That back.
I know, if I ever have time again, I will, but it, you know, it did well. I think it just got me in front of people, and people saw me. Yeah. So that went really well, and then, so that was the end of, what did I say, 2017? Yeah. 2020, I actually moved over to Keller Williams, and I did that really because I wanted to brand myself, and at the time, I didn't really want to get my broker's license. I wasn't thinking about opening an office. I just wanted to be able to brand myself. With Keller Williams, you can cap on your commission, so every year, and earn unlimited income. Nice. Yeah, so the end of 2020, I think it was September 2020, I actually went over to Keller Williams, and in 2021, May of 2021, I actually ended up opening my own office and starting a team at the same time, which was a little crazy to do at one time. Yes, it's a little nuts. But my motto's always been fail forward. So that's what I have done. Just learning as I go. And so, it's been great. I've loved it. That's really how I got into it, though. And when I started my team, which I had started kind of with branding myself before I started a team. Yes. With Lifestyle Homes. And that was really just to make myself stand out. Yep. And I went with that name really because it's, you know, a home for your lifestyle. Like, I love design, like I said, remodeling, and I want to help people find a home that just really fits them. So that's how I came up with that name. But yeah, it's been a great ride. I have not even announced this yet, but I recently got my broker's license as well.
Congratulations!
Yeah, most people I think most people think I already have it because I own a branch office. Yeah. Yes. And it's something I've been wanting to do. I just wouldn't slow down enough to take the time. So I finally got that done. I actually took my licensing exam last Saturday, and I passed both of them. So
breaking news!
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I just felt like it was something I needed for the agents in my office to, you know, offer them the most, and and my clients to be able to have the highest education. And so I'm glad to have it behind me.
Watching, like, tell us the difference between being a real estate agent and now being a broker. Like, what are you able to do now that you're a broker?
So most people don't understand with Keller Williams, you can own your own office like I do here. I've owned this office since 2021 because we have an amazing broker on staff, a supervising broker. having my broker's license now, I could open my own independent office if I wanted to.
Sure.
I don't want to,
Right.
because I like having the supervising broker to help
Yes.
me with the agents, to help with training. That's another great thing about Keller Williams is there's so many systems and tools and training available.
Yes.
So much sometimes you don't even know where to start. You have to kind of focus yourself on where to go for it. But it's a great tool, and they have really helped me. The culture of Keller Williams and our main market center in Lynchburg is why I am where I am now, honestly,
Yes.
because they really help you understand that there's enough for everybody, that you don't need to fear the competition if you're willing to work and be consistent. There's enough for everybody.
For sure.
So, but just being a broker is just a higher level of education. There's more classes, you have to have more hours. We have to do continuing education. As a realtor, every realtor does every couple of years. And with broker's license, it's more hours of education. It's just at a higher level. Yeah, but you can open your own office, and I wouldn't even have to be affiliated with Keller Williams.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't plan to do that because I enjoy having the camaraderie of the people. I'm on the Agent Leadership Council in Lynchburg with all the top producing agents, and we meet once a month, and they are just amazing to get together with and really share ideas about growth, not just in sales of real estate, but in other areas of your life, growing your businesses or having other businesses, like owning. My husband and I flip houses as well, or having rental property, which I have not gotten into yet, but a lot of the other agents on the ALC do. So we can just, share ideas about ways to grow wealth and grow our businesses and help our families and all those things. So
That's amazing. In that community. I mean,
it's a really great community. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are some misconceptions on being a real estate agent that people have? Because I feel like, and I don't want to answer for you, but I hear a lot of misconceptions. People don't realize how hard it is.
They do not. That's what I was going to say. I think people think it's just a really easy job that we just go out and open doors, get to see beautiful houses, and we do get to see all kinds of things, Sure. Yeah. But it's very, very difficult. It is not just you go get your license, you come back and your phone just starts ringing and people just want you to, buy them and sell them a house. You really have to work hard, especially in the beginning, to get your name out there, to get in front of people. And I just think people think it's easy. They also, I think, like I said earlier, I don't think they understand that you don't make any money if you don't sell anything. And you're going to be spending some money out of your pocket. It's expensive to be in, just to get your license, to pay your dues, your monthly dues for your MLS, your yearly dues for your association is pretty pricey. So if you're not selling anything, you're going in the hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely difficult. You have to be available a lot. I think one of the strengths of my team and myself too is just being responsive to people, and I hope you felt that way when I worked with you guys.
Yes.
That's one of the things I really wanted to be able to do is for people to be able to get in touch with me, and sometimes it's hard to draw boundaries
Definitely.
with that. My phone rings 7 days a week.
Yes.
Morning, noon, and night. Like it's just all the time. So sometimes it's a little much, So you have to get used to that you just are always going to have to be available, and that you really have to work hard, and you have to make yourself stand out, I think, and put yourself in front of people more than some people are comfortable doing sometimes, I think. I know I had an agent that was new a few years ago, and I know she told me afterwards, it's taking longer to get going than I thought, is what she said. I think people just think they're going to step into it and they're just going to start making all this money, and it's just not like that. It's a lot of hard work.
So what is your advice for anyone that wants to get into, it doesn't even have to be real estate, just a business in general, like getting yourself out there and getting those first clients are very difficult and having to prove yourself. You do a great job at putting yourself out there. What is some advice you would give to someone? What's that first step they should take on getting their name out there?
I think any business you're in, you're really in sales. You're selling yourself, I think, especially in real estate. Any business is that way, really, though. If you're a business owner, you're selling yourself. So I think being in front of people, being genuine with people, letting them see the real you, which is sometimes hard to do, I think, for people. Understanding it's okay to make mistakes. And like I said, just failing forward, I think, is a huge thing. You know, I think people let fear of failure stop them so much.
Yes, so true.
Yeah, and it is scary, you know, especially when you're brand new and you're not wanting to get in front of people, you're not comfortable in front of a camera. Everybody gets nervous, I think. Even
Yes.
seasoned people,
Yes,
right, get
it's
nervous.
true.
But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And so what if you look dumb? Like, I think one of my biggest pieces of advice is be okay with looking dumb. Who cares? You know?
Authentic.
Yeah, be authentic,
Yeah.
and it will be okay. And then the other thing would just be consistent, because people don't understand in every area of your life that how important consistency is, and how much, even when you don't see the results at first, if you just keep doing it. I know when I was still at Hargrave for that like year and a half, I didn't do a lot of business in that year and a half. I had a full-time job,
Yes.
you know, still had kids at home, but I was consistent in that year and a half with branding myself, coming up with a logo and colors for that logo, just really branding myself, and then just putting myself out there and letting people, not being a secret agent, you know, as people say all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Like putting myself out there, letting people know I'm in real estate now, call me. And even when people in the beginning weren't responding, maybe I didn't get a lot of likes on social media, they still saw it. And if you'll
You're so
just
right.
keep being consistent and keep doing it and doing it and do it, it's just like, you know, working out. Which last year I started working with a trainer. It has been the slowest, most painful, because I'm doing macros, like I'm doing all the things.
Good for you.
It's so hard. In the
Yeah.
beginning, it was the first few weeks I wanted to just kill myself, like trying to learn macros. I mean, it was that difficult.
It's hard.
But I just stuck in there, and it's taken a while, but I'm starting to see results because I've been consistent. So that's the first time in my life with working out and lifting weights that I've ever been consistent, because, you know, I work out a month and I don't see anything, and I'm
I feel
this
you.
ain't doing anything.
Welcome to my life.
Right, it's hard. It's
Yes.
so hard. But I'm finding, just like everything else, if I'm consistent, I'm going to start seeing results. You know, eventually I will start seeing results. So I think that is another big piece of advice too, is just keep doing it, keep being consistent, and you will succeed if you just keep pushing and pushing at it. But you have to be willing to work hard. You have to be willing to put the hours in, especially in the beginning, and you have to not be scared, like I said, of looking dumb or
And you've proven that, because
Yes.
900,000 views
Yeah.
on your Facebook
Yeah.
or social media platforms.
that was, I think, from April last year till the end of the year. That was what we had for views, on my marketing videos of listings,
I mean,
which is great.
Like, you're getting ready to surpass 1 million views. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is the consistency and putting yourself out there. That's
Yeah.
what does that. I mean, that is a huge accomplishment. And that, I mean, who wouldn't want to choose you to be their real estate agent? Because,
Oh, well.
man, I mean, that's great, especially in areas like this that really need that.
Yeah. Well, with a listing, you know, when you're selling somebody's property, it only takes one buyer, and I tell people that all the
Yes.
time. It takes one person, but you want to get that property in front of as many people as possible, obviously, right? To find that one person.
Yes.
Hopefully we find more than one that's interested, and we
Yeah.
can push the price up even higher. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the goal, but it only takes the one. And social media is where, as you know, where
Yes.
everybody's on social media, especially I think Facebook for me is, you know, we were talking about that earlier, is one of the biggest things. So just getting it in front of as many people as I can. And it is hard sometimes with like marketing videos to come up with ideas, and you feel so stupid. Like one day I'm going to do a blooper roll, I swear, because it would be it would be really something, because I'll say half the time, God, I feel so stupid. But I'm like, I don't care. I will do what I need to do to get somebody's property sold. I will look stupid for myself or something, not care. Yeah. So yeah, it's social media is a great thing. It's a great thing to reach people.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And putting yourself out there, it's the first step. It's the first step, and
Right.
it's a new thing too. I mean, for a lot of people, it's just been part of their life forever. But when you're first starting, like you have to remind yourself all the time. Oh, I need to post this. Oh, I need to take a picture of this. Oh, let me do this. And I'm still getting into that cycle too of like, oh, let me do this. Let me do this.
Yeah, it's hard. I forget on Instagram sometimes. Like, there's times I'm like, I'm going to do a day in the life.
Yes.
And I get so busy. You know, I forget. It's the end of the day, and I'm like, oh, I forgot today. So,
and it's so easy, too, to be like, do people really want to know what I do
Right.
all day? Like,
That
do
is
they
true
really?
as well.
But yes, they do. Like, just do it. Just do it and put it out there.
I just think it helps people get to know you better. And I want to work with people that want to work with me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to work with people, that feel something in common, or that just, personalities match or whatever. So I think it's a good way to reach those people, and they get to know you. And I think sometimes, I've started working with a client, and I think they already feel like they know me, which is great. I want them to feel that way, And you and I mean, we didn't even meet until now. So
yeah, and that's how it all works. And when if there's someone out there right now that's looking to buy a house, kind of take them through your process. Like, what is it like from first connecting with you through, like, what do you take them through? What's that process like?
Okay, so as I mentioned, I have a team within this office. So I have independent agents here, but I also have a team, which is a Lifestyle Homes team. And I have a buyer specialist on my team, which is Monica Poppy. And I call her the home matchmaker because she really, really is. She's so good about finding people the right home for them, for their lifestyle, like I talked about. And just keeping that in the back of her head. And I started the team because, my volume, I just was getting so much volume, it was hard for me to keep up and do it at the level I wanted to do it. Sure. Be able to be responsive, be able to make it stress-free for a buyer or a seller. So I focus more on listings. I do keep a buyer here and there, but most of my buyers I let Monica handle when she does a fabulous job. She started as my assistant right after I opened the office in 2021, so as a brand new, I wasn't even licensed at the time, so I trained her. She's phenomenal. And then I have an assistant, which is Sheena, who just started with me in January, and she's doing amazing as well, brand new to real estate, but just really learning and doing a great job. So when a buyer reaches out to me, whether it's on one of my listings or just a buyer in general, we typically I'll have a chat with them. I will have Sheena send them a buyer email, which is basically going to have a link in it that has a Google form for them to fill out that tells me a little bit more about them, like what their wants and needs are, if they haven't been pre-approved, what they think their range is that they're looking at, what their must-haves are in a home, and what their deal breakers are, just those types of things. And just a little bit of personal information just so we can get to know them. We haven't filled that out. It's also going to have attached to it a buyer guide that I have, some little pamphlets. I have these for buyers and sellers. It just tells them about the process, some of the cost of buying a home, because a lot of, people don't do it every day. Sometimes I forget that, I think statistically every 7 years or so people buy a house. We do it every day. So, I try to break it down so in simple terms so they can understand their cost, for a home inspection, for their appraisal, for a septic, if there's a septic inspection, just all of the costs tied to it, their down payment, their escrow, EMD money, just all those things. So we have that in a book, and it tells a little bit about our team too, just so they can get to know us a little. We send that out by email, and as soon as they fill out that form, we print it out, and then we'll usually either do a phone call, a Zoom, or an in-person. It's up to the client, whether they want the customer or the client, whether they want to come in and meet in our conference room with us. We do that a lot of times. We actually had one last week. Or we'll do it by Zoom, or we can just, we'll call. But Monica and I will do this together usually. Yep. And so we'll go through the process after they've looked over that guide. What questions do they have? We'll explain things a little more thoroughly. We will get them with a lender if they have not already done that.
So you suggest that they get approved by a lender before they start looking at homes?
Absolutely. I think people do not understand the importance of talking to a lender first. We'll ask them, have you spoken to a lender? And they'll be like, no, we just want to look at houses first. We're not sure what we want to do. And, we usually will meet somebody first because you do want to get with an agent first. I mean, you want to do you want to get with one agent? Really, you don't want to agent hop. You know, a lot of people do that. They'll just call the listing agent to see a house, or it's not the best way to do it, and there's a few reasons for that too, because you want one agent looking out for you. It can be hard to find the right house. That agent starts to understand you. You know, Monica will understand the more houses she shows people, she understands more what they looking for. But if she's having to show them 10 or 20 houses, then she's not listening. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to see that many houses, because
Okay.
she understands what you're looking for, and she can explain to you why this may or may not fit. So you want to get pre-approved, though, for a couple reasons, and that is you don't want to buy a house that you're not comfortable with. So
right.
if you might get pre-approved for $300, but you might only be comfortable with a $250 payment. So we want to make sure you're comfortable, you know, with your payment. We don't want you buying a house. I would feel terrible if somebody bought a house and then they can't do anything else. Like,
That's
we
true.
don't want to be house poor.
Yes.
We don't want our clients to be house poor.
Yes.
So we want to see how much. We don't want to show you houses that are out of your budget. The worst thing in the world is to go look at a house and fall in love with it, and then you can't buy it. Like, there's no need to do that. Yeah.
Terrible
That's
feeling.
heartbreaking, right?
Yeah.
The other reason is you want to see what type of loan you qualify for. I don't think people understand the importance of that. So if you have any type of government-backed loan, which will be like FHA, USDA, VA loan, some homes won't qualify for those loans. So we like to know that in the beginning, so we're not showing you homes that you cannot buy.
Yes.
Because if a home's especially if it's being sold as is, and it's, say, FHA, which most people, for some home buyers, FHA, it might not pass an appraisal if the seller's not willing to make repairs. And we don't
we don't
only want you not falling in love with a house you can't buy. We don't want you under contract on a house and you've spent $300 or $400 on a home inspection, and you've spent $500 or $600 on an appraisal, and then that you can't they're not going to loan you the money because the house won't pass.
That's heartbreaking too.
Right. You're $1,000 out of your pocket and you can't move forward. So, you know, when we tell somebody, they send us a house, we want to look at this house, and we say, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for your loan. You know, we're not doing it because we don't want to show the house.
Right.
We don't want you to go into contract and spend $1,000 on a house that's not going to work for your loan. So it's very important to get pre-qualified first. Your first step, find an agent that you want to work with, you know, have a consult with them, check them out, make sure you want to do business with them, that they explain things well, that they work with good lenders. We do have preferred lenders that we work with that we know do a great job, you know, that we work with on a regular basis. That is important too, very important. People don't understand, I think sometimes, they're not, just like agents, they're not all alike either.
Right.
You know, that may not always go smoothly if you don't get somebody that's local and that's good at what they're doing. So, and then, you know, get with them, get that pre-qualification. And then at that point, after we have that, if we're ready, the other thing about talking to a lender, if you're not ready, you don't have to do the credit repair stuff. You know, a lot of people pay for those. You don't have to do that. If you have a good lender, they can tell you things to do, and it doesn't cost anything.
Oh,
so you don't necessarily have to go to credit repair. Let them give you a plan. Sometimes it's just something as simple as paying off a certain credit card that your points could go up, you know, enough for you to be able to buy a house. It can only take 2 or 3 months sometimes. So we get that plan in place. If you're not ready, we start working towards getting you ready. And once you are ready to move and we have that pre-approval, pre-qualification in hand, then we will do a search of our system, see what homes are available that might fit. We can also set people up on a search where they'll get them automatically to their email as soon as they list, so we're not missing anything. Although Monica really keeps her hand on the pulse of it, that's still good because most people are checking Zillow and all the places like that if they're really looking for a home. So we tell people, you can still send us something if you see it, but we can set you up on a search. And then, you know, we're going out at that point and starting to show you homes, and hopefully with her, she usually finds them pretty quick. You know, it's just the market. There's not been as much available.
Yeah, tell us about what's the market right now.
Yeah, it's been different. It's going back towards more of a seller's market. You know, during COVID, it was insane.
Yes.
put a house up, and I think a lot of agents that got licensed during that time, and there was an influx of agents getting licensed because it was easier then.
Sure.
It was easier. I think those agents are struggling now. They're seeing that this is not a normal market, that you really do have to work to sell a house in a normal market.
Yep.
It can take, anywhere from 3 to 6 months a lot of times. Fortunately, most of my listings are still selling pretty quickly because I try to be strategic when I price them and find that sweet spot. Obviously, it's up to the seller where they want to price a house. It's their house. So all I can do is make a recommendation. And all we can do is go on past data too. That's all we have. So a house is always worth what a buyer's willing to pay.
Yes.
But we just use past data to try to figure that out. The market now, though, in our area, I think the last time I pulled stats a few weeks ago, we're 90 some days, give or take, on the market, to close. So
it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. It's
Yeah.
it's not a buyer's market yet. It's still more of a seller's market, but it's starting to get into more of a balanced market. We're seeing where it's, taking longer. We're seeing where buyers are able to get closing costs paid, where they couldn't. Yeah, they could not during that COVID years.
Yep.
It was impossible. So that's good for buyers,
That's really cool to see, and you're always hearing like it's always up and down. You're not going to ever have the perfect market.
No,
it's just always different.
Right.
And so, what feeling do you want people to have when they get those keys?
Oh, well.
How awesome is that for you to know that you helped them with that?
And I think that's one of the things I miss the most about having a buyer's agent.
Yes.
That I don't do it as much because I'm
Yeah.
working with sellers, which is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I think I did maybe 4 buyers last year. I don't know that any of them were first-time home buyers, though. I'd have to think back. The first-time home buyers are the most exciting, I think, because it's their first home, and it's just nothing like owning your own home. I mean, you can do whatever you want to it. You're building equity, and that's just the most exciting thing. I know Monica says that all the time, just being able to help somebody reach that milestone, especially for the first time, is like super exciting. And they're overwhelmed with excitement at the closing table. Yeah, there's nothing like it. So I do miss that about not being on that side of it so much anymore. I guess that's maybe why I hang on to a few here and there during the year, just to kind of be, not that it's not exciting, obviously, to sell somebody's house, and help them realize the equity they have to be able to move on to something bigger or do something different is also very exciting too. And that's more my passion, I think, too, just because I can, I feel like really see things that help sell a house, and advise people on that. So I enjoy that.
Yeah, it was such a special time for us, and I remember that feeling too. So, it is, you sell a house to move on to a different chapter, and it's a special feeling.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? What do you do to celebrate when you have a closing?
Just try to get another listing, I guess.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's the perfect answer.
Yeah. Just try to move on to the next one and find another house that I can help. I love to see a house reach its full potential. Like, I think one of my superpowers in real estate is to be able to walk in a house and not see what's there. And I did not realize this was a superpower, I think, until the last few years.
Yes.
Well, I think most people I have found have a really hard time seeing past what's right in front of them. Which is what I try to tell sellers about why it's important to declutter your house, and to depersonalize your house and to fix minor things that need to, especially the minor things that need to be fixed. Because when a person walks in to see it, they just see everything that's there. And you want that person to envision themselves in that home.
Yes.
See themselves living there, which that's one reason it is important to depersonalize it. If your house is like overloaded with pictures of your family everywhere, a person walks in and they just feel like they're imposing on your space. Yeah. So I usually advise people, it doesn't mean you have to take every single family picture down, but let's not overload it with that so that somebody just completely feels like, they're imposing on you. But I can see when I walk in what this house would look like at its full potential, which is why I love to flip homes and remodel homes. And I have pretty much done everything I can to my own personal home. My husband asked me the other day, what are we doing next? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe we'll sell it and buy something else. I don't know. Because I just love to bring out the full potential. It's like really rewarding for me.
Yes.
I know, every house we've ever flipped, well, most of the houses we flipped, I mean, some of them have been in really bad condition, but I walk in the first time and I'm just like, oh, this house could just really be, something. So I think that's a superpower where I can help my sellers if they will take my advice to go in and give them a list, which again, it's why it's important to have a good realtor to meet with before you put your house on the market. And another reason a realtor can be invaluable is just not only telling you market value of your house,
Right.
Because we have our pulse on it every day, but also to tell you things that you can do that are the least expensive to bring you the most money, most return on your money. Something as simple as light fixtures, just updating light fixtures. People don't understand that perceived value and what a difference it can make in your return on your investment.
So true.
Yeah, and then you can get inexpensive light fixtures from Lowe's or Wayfair or something like that, and it really changes the whole feel of the house and gives it a higher perceived value. People really won't move in ready for the most part. Most people don't want a project, and I think that's because they don't know what to do, So that is one of the things I thrive on, and I love being I actually have a very big listing coming soon in Martinsville.
Okay.
That is a really beautiful home on a golf course with a tennis court, and I've gone in there, have my contractors. I have contractors that I work with on a regular basis too, so that's another thing we can provide. A good realtor can provide people that, can go in there and do a very good job, because it's hard, as you probably know, to find people to do what they say and show up.
Yeah.
So I have a contractor there now finishing up this week or next, and I told him the things that he needed to do, the simple things we could do to try to bring more money out of his house. And I'm so excited to see what this house looks like when we're finished, because it's going to be, beautiful.
I can't wait to see it. You need to follow Kim now, so you'll be posting it soon.
A couple weeks, it should be ready and on the market,
Okay, so that's coming. So that's leading me into, how can everyone find you?
So I am on social media, obviously, mainly Instagram and Facebook, and my team page is Lifestyle Homes by Kim.
Okay. I'll link everything.
Yeah, and the Keller Williams Danville, we also have a page, so that is Keller Williams Danville, Virginia, and we're on Instagram and Facebook as well. Obviously, we're on Franklin Turnpike. I bought this building a couple years ago, so we love being out here. Anybody ever needs any help, they're welcome to stop by the office as well. Have great independent agents here as well as my team, so we would love to help. Yeah.
These are the ones that you want on your side. Fantastic team. And you go beyond Danville.
Yes.
So what is your reach?
So I usually stay around Pittsylvania County and Danville. I think Pittsylvania County is the largest county in the state of Virginia.
Yes.
So almost anywhere we're going 30 or 40 minutes, I feel like, all the time. Yep. I live in Chatham, so obviously covered Chatham, Gretna. I sold several homes in Alta Vista last year. I do occasionally go to Martinsville, South Boston, here and there. It just really depends. We try to stay within 45 minutes or so range. And one of the biggest reasons for that is I feel like if I go further than that, I don't know the area well enough to help my client. The good thing about Keller Williams, though, is we have a referral network. So I am still always happy to find somebody, a good agent. We can actually go in our database and look at the stats of agents and how many homes they sell, really learn about them. So I'm always, happy to find somebody, a good agent in any state. We're international too, so there's not hardly anywhere that Keller Williams is not. So I can find a really good agent for somebody anywhere, but I do like to stay within that 45, if I can, for the most part. And that, again, is just because I don't want to not do the best job for my client. Yeah.
This is your girl. This is your team. Thank you so much for
you.
Spending time with me today.
Absolutely.
And allowing everyone to get to know you. So thrilled to be sitting in person with you. Can't wait to do more transactions. It's has me wanting to do something here. We need to do
Let's
something.
Find a house somewhere.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And we'll take you along that journey too. So let's see what we can do. And I appreciate you so much. I'm excited for the future. Congrats on becoming a broker.
Thank
Can't wait to
you.
see what you do next. I'll be following you and getting to know you even more through your social media. Thank you everyone for watching and listening today. Continue rating, reviewing, subscribing. Follow Kim, follow this journey. Let's all be in this together and continue doing great things. We will talk to you next week. Bye.